now have primary control of critical vehicle functions. Roger roll, Discovery.
Hello, I'm Ben. Welcome to Cutting to the Bull in the Post-Apocalypse. I'm joined by Gaz and
Hello.
Mike, as usual.
Hello.
Today we're going to talk about spontaneous human combustion.
It is the burning issue of our time.
Hey, you've been saving that. I mean, as soon as you picked this topic, you were like,
Yeah.
got that fucking joke nailed.
Not fun no.
But first we'll do Weird News live on Facebook as always. So should we do our top listeners?
We shall.
Who we got? Where we got listening? France, Boussay, St. George's, Huntington Beach, California, Kansas City, Sylvester, GA, is that Georgia?
Yeah.
New York, in New York, Marion,
Indiana.
yeah, Milwaukee, Chillicothe, Marland, Abuja, Nigeria, that's a new one, Bangalore in India, welcome back, Angola, wow, Luanda, fair play, Bushy, United Kingdom, Manchester, Marrickville, Gdansk in Poland, Istanbul, not Constantinople. Anyone get that? No? I'm wasted.
Well, yeah, it used to be called that, didn't it?
Yeah, there's a song as well.
Mm.
I'm wasted on you people. Redfern, Australia, Guadalajara, Benton, and what's that top one?
Schenectady.
I thought it was like Shady Nasty or something. Yeah, that one in New York. Thanks a lot. So let's have the first bit of weird news.
Let's get the boys' views on this week's weird news.
Man charged after botched castration attempt at his Florida home. He
Charged with what?
Well, he dropped the ball on this one. Investigators described the case as kinda nuts after they charged a man who performed a botched castration on another man at his Florida home. Gary Van Rissick, 74, had dropped the ball on this one, the Highlands County Sheriff's Office wrote in a Facebook post, after they charged him with second-degree felony of practising medicine without a licence resulting in bodily injury. Officers attended his home in the city of Sebring after someone hung up a 911 call from the property, the post said. Once he arrived, he explained he attempted to remove the testicles of a 53-year-old man he'd met a week earlier on a dark web website for people who have a castration fetish.
It's a one-time thing though, isn't it?
Well, that's it.
It's not like you can repeat this fetish over and over
That's
again.
what I mean, it's-
Twice max.
But yeah, but it's like that dude who's like, I want to be killed and eaten. I'm going to get a sexual kick out of it. Well, yeah, once.
That's it.
Yeah.
And if your fetish is castration and not specifically castration by some weird dude, if it's just castration, why not go and
Castrate
suppose-
sheep.
I suppose castration's not the sort of thing that you can just go and pay for in a private hospital, is it?
You
I
can
mean,
if you
they'll
go
do
to
it
Mexico and
chemically
you're
there,
part of the
wouldn't
cult.
they? Yeah, I guess. But if you want to, yeah, I suppose, yeah, I should have thought that through before I spoke. Yeah, you do have to find people on the dark web if you want a castration.
I'm quite impressed he's 74 and surfing the dark web. I don't know how to go on the dark web.
I know in theory you need a thing.
Really? A computer?
Yeah, no, you need a thing, a
And another
browser.
thing.
You need a browser, the dark web browser. I used to know what it was fucking called. A friend of mine's going to prison for things like this. Tried to be
Oh, yeah.
clever. He stole someone's Bitcoin.
Oh, I think you said about that, yeah.
White collar crime, yet he was living in a shared house. Like, they booted the doors off and everyone in the house was like zip tied up and
Wow.
all that business, like because he stole a rich guy's Bitcoin.
Oh, well, there we go then.
You know what I
We're not
mean?
be doing that.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate crime, isn't it, in this society?
Yeah,
Stealing from the rich.
Yeah.
So my advice would be like, if you can't be half a hacker. Hacking isn't something that you're like, it's kind of my hobby. You know, you've either got to be good enough to cover your tracks or or you'll get arrested.
Yeah, pretty much.
So don't steal Bitcoin. Why am I on about that?
I don't know.
Dark web.
Anyway, this guy...
I was on about it because of the dark web.
Yeah.
And this guy found him on the dark web.
He told the victim he had had experience on animals and had even removed one of his own testicles in 2012.
Well,
It
what's
added...
the difference?
Deputies found the man on the bed with a towel over his groin, which was bleeding heavily. Nearby, there was a pink container which held 2 body parts that had recently been much closer to the victim. The victim was taken to the hospital and was later flown to a regional medical centre. He's listed as in a stable condition. It's unclear whether his testicles were reattached. I don't know. Can he do that?
I guess. I don't know. I wouldn't know. They said they obviously
Get it
thought
on
they
ice.
could, yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about the ice thing. You don't put them directly in the ice, otherwise you give them frostbite.
What did you do then?
It's like...
A towel.
Yeah, it's a towel.
This is an SOS. If anybody out there's got a pack of lighters, will you fucking send them our way?
It doesn't help that you are slightly one-armed at the moment.
It's first step towards my transition, Ben.
What big and completely enclosing casts.
It's my transition into a mechanical man.
You've had a robot arm put on, have you?
The Oxford English Dictionary states,
Have you been looking at this?
cyborg is, and I quote, a person whose physiological functions have been aided by or improved upon by a mechanical or physical... I've forgotten it. I used to have this memorised. But essentially, your nan's a fucking cyborg. If she's got an hearing aid, she's a cyborg. If she's got a plastic hip, she's a cyborg, according to the technical definition of a cyborg. I don't know if this is quite there yet, but you know.
Well, it's got no mechanics
I'm
aiding
gonna
you
stick
in any way.
I'm gonna stick some wires down one end and just so they poke out the other, and see if anyone respects my status as a transformer.
They probably won't.
Because it's weird that if I say that with my beard and my dick, I identify as a woman, everyone has to bend over backwards, but you won't do it for me being a transformer.
Because they're made of metal and you can't actually transform.
You
Some
can be
could
whatever
argue-
you want to be, Gaz.
Thank
If
you.
you want to be a transformer, be a transformer.
Thank you, I am. I'm always transforming, educating and improving myself.
What, by breaking your arm?
Yes, whilst learning to do something I didn't know how to do.
I wouldn't try it again.
I'm going to. I'm not going to be
God, he
defeated.
thinks he's talking.
It was ice skating, not wanking.
Power wanking. Wanking with the power of a man half my age. Twice my size. Fractured my own.
Whatever you're into, mate.
Yeah. Should we call that article over? Move on to the next one.
Yep.
Don't cut your own nuts
They'll
off.
fucking blur into one big long fucking weird thing anyway.
A bit of Epstein news. I got 2 because the conspiracy theories are still flying around.
Very much so, yeah.
It's gonna make us. He might make us a lot of money one day. So do you want to do this one? Oh, who wants to do this one?
I know this one then. Epstein had bizarre painting of Bill Clinton in dress, heels in townhouse.
Yeah. This is from the New York Post. Should you want to go and check it out? But yeah,
Disturbing.
I don't see why Bill Clinton's in drag in. Especially
Probably an
since
inside joke that we don't know.
That's it, isn't it?
Probably involving an altar and a child. Allegedly.
Do you think? Well, I don't think there's any allegedly about it.
As simple as when he sat for the portrait to be painted, he was wearing a dress.
Do you think he wore a dress when he was doing stuff on the island?
Maybe, who knows what he likes in his spare time.
He doesn't like fucking Hillary, does he?
Oh, he would. Should probably fucking... There was a joke in there, but it didn't come quick enough. Moving on.
Right, it was hanging up there prominently as soon as you walked in a room to the right, a source told the Post. Everybody who saw it laughed and smirked.
Right.
It didn't stop there though, apparently. He had a mannequin hanging from the ceiling, dressed up in a wedding gown,
Weird.
noting how the doll was situated above a staircase.
Was it a mannequin? Was it a preserved human corpse? Who can say?
Well,
The piece, dubbed Parsing Bill, was painted and sold by a New York-based artist named Patrina Ryan Cleld. Saatchi Art, an online art gallery, describes it as an oil on canvas with dimensions of whatever. The painting inside Epstein's home appears to be the same size, and sources told the Post it was also done with oil. So apparently, is that painting.
Well,
No.
to be fair though, to play devil's advocate, if some famous artist did a funny painting of your mate, it's not that weird to buy it, is it?
No,
I
it's
suppose
just...
not.
That's funny. Look at Bill. Looks a right dick in that picture.
I mean, I thought he had it commissioned
Mm,
himself. He'd
Didn't
done it
say
himself.
that, though,
Like,
does
but no.
How do you know he didn't? Might just be kept quiet.
Well, it's saying that it matches the exact painting that was sold.
I'll be honest, of all the stuff going on around Mr. Epstein, I think this painting's the least
I still think it's a bit weird.
of our concerns.
You know, good mates, he's got a picture of him in drag in his house.
Yeah, like I said, like if we were both famous and some famous artist painted you in a dress to be funny, I might buy that. Yeah.
What, you want a picture of me in a dress hanging on your wall?
No, Ben.
I had a picture of Ben with a wig on my phone for years, didn't I?
That's
It's
true.
not as my screensaver.
What, so it's not that difficult of a stretch to just think like, he just thinks it's funny, his mate's in a dress. It's a
Yeah,
funny painting.
I'm going for the darker option.
Of what?
I think that's how he used to dress when he was on the island.
It's not that dark compared to fucking kids, Ben. It's a
Well,
bloke in a dress.
There's
I
some
mean,
weirdness going on. High strangeness.
nah, I think this one in particular, I think, is clutching at straws.
No.
I do now. I know it was bought and not commissioned by himself.
I think he was commissioned by him in secret and then bought.
Oh, maybe.
Who can say? Next one.
Yep.
It's our good mate Rick Wiles.
Hey.
Fucking hell, he's in the news.
After his embarrassment of last week's... Well, he did win though last week for Alex, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like, hey, Tom Brady, he's married to a Brazilian ass model who's a witch. How's he doing? He's doing pretty well though, isn't he? But she's a witch.
Yeah, check out last week's episode for that.
What's his name? I've already forgotten.
Rick Wiles.
Well, according to him, Jeffrey Epstein is alive and well and walking around with a head transplant.
Yeah.
Alright then. In the wake of Jeffrey Epstein's apparent suicide while in the custody of the Federal Bureau of Prisons earlier this month, conspiracy theories began to swirl around the murky circumstances of his death. But Rick Wiles has taken it to the next level, beyond paintings and little black books. He says that he is alive and well, adding that his sexual molestation career has taken a radical turn.
I didn't realise it was a career.
Is it? Yeah. Epstein will have to manage this operation from seclusion in another country with a new face that an intelligence agency has given him, Wiles said on an audio flagged by Right Wing Watch. Perhaps even a facial transplant beyond going to plastic surgery.
So it's face off.
Face off.
It's face off for pervs.
Well, if anyone's got the money, it's the world's most famous pimp, Mr. Epstein. Well, I think the onus is on Mr. Wiles to A, prove that such facial transplants are possible, firstly, and then prove that Epstein's had one. If you can't prove the first, there's no point even thinking about the second.
Proof doesn't matter to these people. They read a book and think it's true.
Where's it? Do you think
Literally true.
Do you think they? What's he get out of making this shit up?
People watch his show and he gets money.
Right. Do you think he really believes this? Somebody told him this.
Oh no, he doesn't believe any of
He's
this.
like, he's that thick.
No, he doesn't believe any of this. It's just all a show, isn't it? It's just
Rich.
all just a job. When he said sexual molestation career, I was like, just had a vision of when you got the careers officer in school. It's like, right, I've got a career for you. Sexual molestation. Oh, pass if you don't mind.
Mo Lester, this is the correct year. Sorry, bad taste.
No, they've got bad taste, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, fuck him. He's walking around with a new head. Oh well.
They were on about doing an head transplant not so long back. Some Russian doctor was on about it. Some bloke who was paralysed from the neck down, he was going to put his head on an entirely new body, but they said the psychological implications are a bit too much.
They've been talking about it for fucking donkeys. There's that... Somebody was doing it with dogs, weren't they? And they have some
Monkeys as well.
success, didn't they? Do a dog head transplant. I think we've talked about this. And it worked for a while.
It was a monkey,
like a
I
few
think.
seconds. Was it a monkey?
Yeah.
It was a monkey. That rings a bell now.
I think it lived for like a couple of minutes. and
Yeah,
then
yeah, it was literally...
had a freak out.
But, you know, one day, I guess...
The facial thing they can do, I'm sure they've done that with like burns victims and things like that, but it doesn't look quite natural. Do you know what I mean? You can tell something's obviously been done to their face.
Yeah, it's been on fire.
Now the new face.
Right. I think
Yeah.
that concludes
That concludes Weird News for this week. And we're back, so let's talk about spontaneous human combustion. It's a well-documented phenomenon, goes back to cases before the 1800s, in which a human body ignites and burns without any known contact with an external source of fire. In some cases the damage is slight, in others the victim is reduced to ashes, and in some of the strangest cases nearby objects escape relatively unscathed. The chair or bed on which the victim was sitting or lying, and even the clothes on the charred body may be undamaged or only slightly singed. Often too, a single foot, a leg, or the tips of some fingers remain intact, although the rest of the body is consumed. Cases of spontaneous human combustion began to appear in medical reports as far back as the 17th century, and by the 20th century the literature abounded in detailed accounts of inexplicable human incineration. Over a span of 4 centuries, more than 200 such incidents have been reported. In earlier times, the classical targets of this fiery fate were believed to be alcoholic and usually corpulent elderly women who lived alone. They almost always incinerated indoors on winter nights and were usually found near an open fire. Needless to say, there were no witnesses, and their deaths are attributed to God's punishment of their sins.
Are they?
What a forgiving God.
Yep.
Is that what it says on the death certificate?
Probably. I don't know if they did death certificates back then. Probably not.
Shit.
But even in these days, there were exceptions, as some of the cases related in this chapter show. In fact, recent research into this strange phenomenon shows a fairly equal representation of the sexes among the victims, with ages ranging from infancy to 114 years.
Infancy? Wow.
Many were
That's got to be
abstinence.
traumatic, hasn't it? You
Yeah.
come back to the cot and it's just a pile of burning cinders. Well, it's not even cinders, is it? It's just ash.
Yeah.
It's not even smouldering, is it? It's just like burnt itself out.
Yeah.
Like that intense and fast. Maybe some little baby feet left.
Oh.
Fucking hell.
What is it
And-
you making the dark shit like?
And where did the baby get matches or a lighter from? You know what I mean? The
Well,
baby wasn't drunk and smoking a cigarette. The baby didn't fall asleep with a fag in its mouth, did it? If it did, I got questions for the mum.
Yeah.
Maybe someone was smoking around the cot,
Dropped
flicked a
it.
bit of ash around the cot.
Okay.
Yeah, because when we were kids, you had them
70s.
tailed-in nappies, didn't you?
Yeah, also everyone smoked.
That's true.
Probably in babies' faces.
Oh. Yeah.
Good night, honey. dip your fucking dummy in a bit of Jack Daniels and,
That's what I used to have.
and
And I turned it perfectly fine.
and you don't have problems with alcohol at all, do you?
No. No.
I can say that smug now as a non-drinker.
Oh, you got given a can of lager and you're drinking a can of cider.
First drink I've had since Friday.
It's only Sunday.
And the drink I had on Friday was the first one I had since the Friday before.
Yeah, well, bully for you.
Uh-huh. Feeling good and smug, that's what I'm saying.
Well, some of us aren't quitters.
Well, I'm not going to burn to death. Well, I might, just not in spontaneous combustion.
You might if I go over there with a lighter.
It's not spontaneous if I drop a fag on myself, though, is it?
No,
That's just like
Yeah.
that's just burning yourself.
Yeah.
self. Do you know how close have you?
Self-immolation.
As drinkers and smokers, all three of us, what's the closest you've come to that?
Never
Killing you?
happened, actually.
Do you know what happened to me once? It was like a cartoon, mate.
Was it?
Fell asleep downstairs at an ex-girlfriend's, and I smoked rollies, but her dad smoked real fags, and he always had left his pack on the side downstairs, and he's always pissed, so he couldn't remember how many was in there, so I used to go down in the wee hours and have a real cigarette next to the fire, and like, and anyway, I fell asleep, and they don't go out, do they?
Yeah.
And I woke up, and I had it like I'm miming for the camera. I was holding the cigarette into my own crotch, but the baggy bit that goes like that on your jeans when you're sitting, the way I say it was like a cartoon, because it was literally a circle of smouldering, like,
Oh, fuck.
not fire, but like, you know, it was glowing, a glowing circle that was getting bigger. I was like, holy shit! A few minutes more, that's how it happens, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's fairly close for me. I was surprised. I thought it was a fairly common,
No,
cigarette
one
in
of
this
the
house.
hotties in the t-shirts.
Yeah.
That's as bad as it's come, yeah.
I've fallen asleep with joints and rollers in my hand literally hundreds of times.
Wow.
But they always go out. It used to drive when I lived at home, it would honestly terrify my mum. She would go crazy at me, but she didn't understand that. So I hadn't toked on that joint for at least 10 minutes. it was well out by the time I'd passed out. But yeah, I guess I'm lucky.
Yeah.
I have to go outside to smoke them now, so it's not going to happen.
Can't fall asleep out there.
Well,
Just stand up or sit down.
depends how much alcohol has been intaken. Sometimes sitting down is a necessity.
Very true. In these days there were exceptions, as some of the cases related in the chapter show, but in fact recent research into this strange phenomenon shows a fairly equal representation of the sexes among the victims. Some have combusted in the proximity of a source of fire, but others have ignited while they were driving or simply walking in surroundings devoid of any external source of fire. Contemporary scientific and medical opinion rejects the idea of spontaneous combustion, dismissing the many instances of inexplicable deaths by burning as simply, quote, puzzling or, quote, unsolved. Although a number of theories have been proposed, there is no sound physiological model that can explain how a human body could possibly self-ignite or how it could burn fiercely enough to be reduced to ashes. Such consumption of human tissue and bone is only possible at the extreme temperatures, which is over 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit, so that is fucking hot,
Yeah.
provided by pressurised crematoriums. And of course, when it comes to explaining unscorched clothing or a fully fleshed limb associated with the ashy or charred remains, the inexplicable becomes the bizarre.
Yeah, I learned that today, that I suppose I've just never thought about crematoriums very often, that even that 3,000 degree heat isn't enough to produce that nice uniform ash stuff that you get out the other end. Like, they then put it in a grinder, don't they?
They
'Cause
do,
it's
yeah.
still full of big bone chips. So even at 3,000 degrees, whatever it was, that still doesn't disintegrate the bones to nothing. There'll still be bits.
It can
left.
do if it collapses. Maybe it's on a seat. The seat collapses and the weight of it then crumbles it to ash.
Okay, but I mean,
That's possible.
but
Isn't
they
it?
still have to grind.
Yeah, it's not. It's like they grind it, but it's not like solid. It's like you could crush it with your
Oh,
hands.
in your hands, like, okay.
And it's sort of like, yeah.
It'll be the femur that survives, wouldn't it? That's the main one that survives, your thigh bone, because that's the one of the strongest bone, strongest bone in your body.
It's got to be on it.
Well,
In your skull.
the weirdest.
Oh, yeah.
I saw the one as well today that the skin was still on it, the legs. So it wasn't that one I was talking about earlier. It was a different one. One of the common things you'll see, listener, if you look this up, is from the knee down gets left behind quite a bit, doesn't it? The lower
The extremities, the hands, and possibly sometimes the head.
I mean, when you go and look at photos of this, you'll see like the charred sort of remains in a chair,
It's
and
graphic.
then just a pair of legs. Just
Yeah.
Should we go through some of the cases then?
yeah. I'll start with an early one. 1673.
Oh, fucking hell.
One of the earliest well-attested cases of spontaneous human combustion was recorded by Thomas Bartholin. A poor woman of the people was mysteriously consumed by fire in Paris.
A woman of the people, does that mean that she was a
I
prostitute?
I suspect a prostitute, yes.
It's a nice way of saying it.
She had been a heavy drinker of strong spirits to the point of not taking any nourishment for 3 years. One evening she went to sleep on a straw pallet and was burned up during the night. In the morning, only her head and the ends of her fingers were found. All the rest of her body was reduced to ashes.
Now there is an explanation for that, a scientific one.
Hay bales.
Yeah,
Here we go then, Mike.
because
Go
what
for it.
happens is the bacteria breed underneath the hay. Yeah, and as they're breeding, they extract.
It heats up, doesn't it?
Yeah, heats up
Causes
because
heat.
the gases and stuff that they're
There's
excreting.
Nowhere for it to go.
Yeah, and it heats up and it can catch
Catch up,
fire.
yeah.
So that's a possibility with that one.
Yeah?
She was such a hoe that somebody was walking past and was like, "Oh look, what was her name?"
Oh, it doesn't say. She hasn't got a name.
Oh well.
She's just a woman of the people.
Candy.
Oh, Spunky Candy over there. Look, she's passed out. I don't know. I was going to say there was some friction. But anyway, it was probably the scientific thing that you said, Mike. And the vodka in 1663 or whatever it was.
But 90%
I was going
proof.
to say, how good do you reckon that was? I mean,
Well, yeah,
is
actually.
it risky business?
I wonder how strong. Then again, it depends where you're buying it from, doesn't it? Your average sort of tavern / brothel in 1673 downtown Paris is probably watered down a bit.
Is there much trading standards in those days?
Well, no, there wasn't any trading standards in them days. Could have been fermented horse piss for all you know.
Oh, you see, and everyone complains about health and safety and all that. It's there to keep you alive.
Oh, yeah.
Stop you exploding in a hail bay.
Should we do another one?
Yeah.
1731. The celebrated case of the Countess de Bandi of Cesena in Italy, brought to the notice of the Royal Society of London. The Countess Cornelia Bandi, in her 62nd year of her age, this is a quote.
This is why it was brought to London, because she was a countess and not a prostitute.
Yeah, and also it was described by a reverend as well. So I suppose he's considered a trustworthy witness at this point in history. She was 62, was all day as well as she used to be, but at night was observed when at supper dull and heavy. She retired, was put to bed, where she passed 3 hours and more in familiar discourses with her maid, and in some prayers at last, falling asleep the door was shut. In the morning the maid, taking notice her mistress did not wake at the usual hour, went into the bedchamber and called her, but not being answered, doubting some ill accident, opened the window and saw the corpse of her mistress in this deplorable condition. 4 feet distant from the bed there was a heap of ashes, 2 legs untouched from the foot to the knee with their stockings on. Between them was the lady's head, whose brains, half of the back part of the skull, and the whole chin were burnt to ashes, amongst which were found 3 fingers blackened. All the rest was ashes, which had this particular quality when they left in the hand when taken up, a greasy and stinking moisture.
That'll be all the human juice.
Yeah.
Or the people's soup.
The air in the room was also observed with soot floating in it. A small oil lamp on the floor was covered with ashes but no oil in it. 2 candles in candlesticks upon a table stood upright. The cotton wick was left in both, but the tallow was gone and vanished. Somewhat of moisture was among the feet of the candlesticks. The bed received no damage. The blankets and sheets were only raised on one side, as when a person rises up from it or goes in. The whole furniture, as well as the bed, was spread over with moist and ash-coloured soot, which had penetrated into the chest of drawers, even to foul the linens. So it's ruining her linen in the chest of drawers.
Oh.
Nay, the soot was also gone into the neighbouring kitchen and hung up on the walls, the furniture and utensils of it. From the pantry, a piece of bread covered with soot and grown black, and was given to several dogs, all of which refused to eat it. Here, come here, Rover. Do you want a bit of the Countess?
Now, was that part of the investigation, or was that just for shits and giggles?
Possibly for shits and giggles.
No, even a fucking dog will eat it.
It should be noted that this was an upper-class woman of good character, allegedly, not a poor old creature addicted to alcohol. However, some connection with alcohol did exist. A few days after the Countess's demise, an Italian nobleman who passed through Cesena said he had heard on good authority the Countess was in the habit of washing her body in camphorated spirits of wine when she felt indisposed, and that it was very likely she'd done so on the evening before her accident. After a great deal of speculation by the medical authorities at the time, the final opinion was that, though lightning could conceivably be blamed, it was more likely that a naturally caused internal combustion had taken place in her body, that she had risen from her bed to cool herself, and on the way to open the window she had been overcome. Her body was consumed from within, so no external flames were produced that could set fire to the furniture in the room.
Now, some people think that lightning could be a cause.
They do?
Ball lightning.
Yes, I've heard about this ball lightning. It's not like this is actual real scientists talk about this. It's not a what do you call it?
Not a proper.
But it's like there are some theoretical. I listened to a Radio Lab thing about it. Like literally, like people can be sat in their living room with like a glowing orb of fucking.
You just come through
lightning,
the window and just sort of like float around the room,
hover around,
No way.
and disappear. And they don't have an explanation for it, but it is an observed phenomena that like mainstream scientists do sort of accept, I think.
So we could be sat here now and just an orb of lightning could just pop into the window?
Yep.
Under the correct conditions, yeah. People have observed this.
What happens when it pops in the window? Does it do anything, or...?
No, it's just like an atmospheric thing. As
Well,
far as I
it
know.
burns, doesn't it? People have been burnt by it. Let's touch people and burn them, and I think sometimes it just either just peters out or perhaps just hits something and it explodes. Like,
look at now. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
And also, if I might be incorrect, but I think I'm right in saying that scientists don't like actually understand lightning, do they? Really? They
I
got
think you're
good
right
guesses.
to a point, yeah.
They got like a good guess and a best theory and a most likely, but they don't actually know what causes it, what conditions. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. I'm sure I heard that somewhere.
It's possible, I don't know. To be fair.
I think they know what causes it, but I
It could
mean,
be on
how you get...
I know that lightning goes up, doesn't it? It doesn't come down, it goes up. It's a common...
I've no idea how you get like all that energy from just some hot air and some cold air meeting, though. That confuses the fuck out of me. I don't know how that works. Because I mean, it's like thousands of volts, isn't it?
Well, heat. It's because there's a lot of energy, isn't there?
Yeah, but you're talking like... You know, it's Fry Up City, isn't it? That itch, yeah.
Yeah. It's strange, isn't it? But yeah.
So lightning, but it's very fucking weird to try and think of somebody burning from the inside. Like, how do you set fire from the inside out?
Yeah.
Like, that's like, think of some comic book shit or something, you know what I mean? I think of Dread, the movie Dread, where okay, hot shot.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He fires the thing into his mouth and he just kind of burns from the inside out and then just crumbles like ash. What the fuck causes?
Well, that documentary you saw today, did you see the bit where the woman had she started breathing fire effectively, didn't she?
Wow. Breathing
Fire was coming out of her mouth.
That's what the witness report said, yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. 1820. Mrs. Wright, this is London. She was hospitalised with severe burns from which she was not expected to recover. Her injuries were the culmination of a series of strange, spontaneous fires that have been plaguing the Wright household since the 5th of January 1820. Mrs. Wright, who had been sitting with a servant girl by the kitchen hearth, noticed her own clothes were on fire as she stood up to walk away. On January the 12th, her clothes flamed up again, in the presence of the same girl. I'm guessing that this girl setting her on fire for this one.
Quite possible.
Anyway, then sometime the following day, screams were heard from the kitchen where she was and where the girl had been. He ran into the room and found his mother in flames. Only a moment before the girl had left the kitchen, and this time Wright accused her. But it was Mrs. Wright's belief the girl had nothing to do with her misfortunes and that something supernatural was assailing her. She sent for her daughter, who arrived to guard her. She continued to believe the girl would have nothing to do with the fires and went to the kitchen where the girl was, and again, by some unknown means, she caught fire. She was put to bed, dreadfully burned.
Well,
And then,
fire
when she
will
got
do
to
that
sleep,
you.
her son and daughter left the room and were immediately brought back by her screams, finding her surrounded by flames. Then the girl was told to leave the house. She left and there were no more fires. I'm guessing there was just a fucking arsonist. That kitchen maid was an arsonist.
Yeah.
It's quite possible, isn't it? Well, we never know.
No. Want a Christmas Eve tale?
Ah, go on then.
On Christmas Eve 1885 near Ottawa, Illinois, Mr. and Mrs. Patrick Rooney and their son John and their hired hand John Larson sat around a kitchen table celebrating the holiday with a jug of whiskey Farmer Rooney had just brought back from town. Larson had a few drinks and went off to bed. John Rooney stayed up for a while, but eventually left for his farm a mile away. Larson, rising early, came down on Christmas morning to do his chores. He tried to strike a match on the iron kitchen stove, but found to his surprise the stove was covered with a layer of greasy soot. Alarmed, he quickly struck the match against his thumbnail and lit the lamp. To his horror, he saw Patrick Rooney sitting dead in the chair. There was no sign of Mrs. Rooney. Larson rushed outside of the horse and galloped madly to John Rooney's farm. When Larson and young Rooney got back, they found what remained of Mrs. Rooney under a 3x4 foot hole in the floor. On the bare ground, a couple of feet below, were a burnt piece of skull, 2 charred vertebrae, a foot and a small pile of ashes, all that remained of the 200-pound woman.
Wow.
No other part of the floor was burned, and neither was any of the furniture. The only damaged item was the corner of the tablecloth hanging over the hole, which was slightly scorched. Wow.
Why hasn't anyone, like... I mean, they must be setting cadavers on fire. They'd blow them up and stuff. to study them. You know what I'm on
Who's
about?
blowing up cadavers?
You don't know about this? Like medical research and things like, you know, a fairly fresh cadaver, they like put them in cars and drop them off stuff and blow them up and shoot them and then study the damage
No way.
and kind of try and work backwards and get some sort of idea of what happens to the body in certain situations. You obviously have to sign off on this. There was some funny news story about it. Funny, in quotes, about some guy finding out that he'd signed away his mum to be blown up, like...
Oh, I see, yeah.
That's what they, like... And they do normal... I say normal, but, like, they just leave them in various... like, cadaver farms where they're in various stages of decomposition for you to study for CSI, you know...
Oh, yeah.
The more you know about how the body decomposes. And yes, they also shoot them and blow them up and throw them off stuff. So yeah,
Interesting.
don't sign your body away for that. Why was on about that? Cadavers. Oh yeah, so surely maybe somebody is like testing what's the most intense fire you can get out of a cadaver, or maybe it's not the same because you need the juices and the things and the stuff to be
They've done it with pig
fresh.
carcasses.
Pig fat and stuff. But I mean, if you got a really fresh cadaver, like the day after, surely you could set them on fire and do some laboratory tests. I'm just saying.
I don't know, let's find out.
I don't know if anyone's ever done it, but they've done it with pig carcasses.
I'm going to let you Google setting cadavers on fire.
Why?
Although there is some strange things in my Google history, I don't really want that to be one of them.
That's not that strange.
It'll be popping up for ages then, every time I click on stuff.
It'll show up on your Facebook thing.
I'll be invited to join a cadaver burning group. And fucking hell, I don't like dead people.
A most peculiar fire that took the lives of Mr. and Mrs. John Keeley, a retired couple at Butlock's Heath, a village near Southampton, England. On the morning of February 26, 1905, neighbours heard a scratching sound issuing from the Keeley house, and on entering the house they found the interior in flames. Mr. Keeley was lying on the floor, totally consumed by fire. His wife was in an easy chair in the same room, badly charred but recognisable. The police investigators noted an overturned table and an oil lamp with its glass chimney smashed on the floor, but it's not clear how this lamp could have been the cause of such an intense fire. The easy chair on which Mrs. Keeley was found was not burnt or even singed. The jury brought in a verdict of accidental death, but by which means we are unable to say.
Fire.
Fire.
I think it was fire. So that sucks for if one of them spontaneously combusted and set the other one on fire, it sucks for the one who didn't spontaneously combust, doesn't it?
Well, yes.
What a way to go. My wife exploded
Oh no.
and set me on fire.
The thing is, as we get sort of later now, we're in the 20th century. Obviously, you know, forensics is picking up, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Investigating crime scenes, ways of doing things rather than the...
We learn more about people, we learn more about fires.
Yeah, and you know, unlike the days of Jack the Ripper when fingerprints weren't known and things like that, we're starting to learn, you know, how to investigate an accident.
Sorry.
Is that another beer you owe us?
I don't drink, sorry.
Did you know that fire is only known to occur on Earth?
Oh, yeah?
Well, they don't have...
That's what it's the oxygen levels, isn't
They
it?
don't have air in space, do they?
Exactly, can't burn. Oh, I don't know how the sun works. I
That's
guess
a
it's
nuclear
plasma.
reaction, yeah.
That's plasma, isn't it? Isn't fire as such, is it?
No.
So yeah, it's the only planet we know that has oxygen levels high enough. Because oxygen, fire needs at least 16% oxygen to burn.
Well, we've got a lot of cool things here on Earth, haven't we?
Fire.
PlayStations.
Boobs.
Boobs. Yeah, but they probably have space boobs, don't they?
Yeah, that's true.
They might be attached to space cows, though, or something.
Nah, it's too weird to think of.
Is it? Sorry. Back to the fire people.
It's 1938, the sudden combustion of Mrs. Mary Carpenter, who perished while vacationing on a cabin cruiser off Norfolk, England, took place in full view of her husband and children, so some severe psychological counselling going on for them. She was engulfed in flames and reduced to a charred corpse in minutes. No one else was burned and the boat was undamaged. Quote, "I suppose her clothes caught fire," the investigating officer said, "but I can't understand how it happened." So witnesses, all of a sudden, she just goes up. They're on a boat. Don't want to fire a boat, but nothing else is singed.
Well, at least a fire in a boat, at least there's water around.
Well, that didn't do her much good, though.
Yeah. Somebody could have slung her in time.
Yeah, easier said than done, isn't it? Someone on fire. Pick up and sling him overboard.
Burning from the inside out.
Yeah, you just kick him overboard.
This is Sparta.
This is one of my. I find this one quite strange. A former actress, Miss Olga Worth Stevens, aged 75, of Dallas, Texas, was sitting in a parked car in October 1964 when witnesses saw her burst into flames. She was fatally burned before anyone could come to her rescue. Firemen said the automobile was not damaged and contained nothing that could have started the fire.
Oh. Well, nothing electrical or...
No, they said everything was fine. She just...
She wasn't smoking.
Horrified witnesses said that she basically turned into a human torch while sitting in her parked car.
Fuck.
Car wasn't damaged by the flames.
Is it the work of the devil, or should we save that till later?
Well,
We'll get to our theories later, yeah.
I'll give you one more. This is from the 1970s in England. Infant combustion. In 1973, 7-month-old Parvinder Kaur and the baby carriage in which he was sitting suddenly burst into flames in his parents' living room. He was treated in the burns unit at the Birmingham Hospital, but officials were unable to determine any cause of the fire. The following year, the Birmingham Evening Mail of August 26, 1974 reported the death of six-month-old Lisa Tipton. She was found burned to death in an unexplained fire confined to one room of her parents' home in Highfield, Staffordshire.
Shit.
It's just up the road.
Yeah?
Well, they must have lived very sinful lives. You know, for the devil to just smite them in this way.
Are you born again after last week's Dinosaurs in the Bible episode?
Yeah, I don't know, it's just the most plausible explanation I could think of, the devil. I don't like the look of this drunk old bint.
How much Rick Wiles and Mark Johnson have you been watching this week, guys?
Only the usual, you know, half an hour or so I'm subjected to here on a Sunday.
Sorry, Mark Taylor, the firefighter prophet.
Can you think of a more plausible explanation than the devil?
Yeah, I'll come to it later.
Oh, right, okay.
Surprisingly, yeah.
Oh, well, that's handy.
The devil didn't feature high on my
Didn't he?
on my reasons.
Well, he always features high for me. Praise him.
Or maybe not the devil, maybe just a supernaturally powered
Fire goblin.
a serial killer.
A fire-powered serial killer
Yes.
who's immortal. Or time
And
traveling.
invisible.
No, he only needs to be a few hundred years old for this story, doesn't
You
he?
don't know how long he's been doing this, because since it's been recorded, it's like 200 years, and it could have been going on for forever.
Maybe not immortal, maybe he just lives for, I don't know, 500 years or
And
something.
he passes the mantle on.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, when was the last one?
An invisible serial killing fire starter. Is
Yeah.
immortal.
Or time traveller.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a more recent one here.
No, I'm just going to skip over it.
Well, you were asking when the latest one was, and I'm
Yeah.
going.
Alright, okay.
Well, it's a possibility, Gaz. I mean,
When was the latest one?
it's in Hull. I think it was a couple of years ago.
Okay.
The Hull Daily Mail reports that police in Hull investigating the tragic incident which occurred around 8 p.m. on the December 27th. They're not treating it as arson or an assault. Hull City Council member Daniel Lingwood said he saw the flames and thought his van was on fire until he realised it was a human.
Oh, no.
He and another man stopped a group of women from dousing the man with water, opting to roll him on the ground to extinguish the flames.
They stopped putting water. People from putting water on it.
You should roll him on the floor, shouldn't you?
I think that's more...
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Well, I do both personally.
I don't know. This guy obviously...
I thought it was
was
stop, drop and
confident
roll.
enough-
Well, yeah, but if you've got water, surely that's going to put the fire out, unless it's an oil fire.
That's but you don't know what it is, do you?
I suppose this guy was confident enough to make that decision, and like...
Well, he's a council member.
No, it didn't work, and he died, so
Yeah.
maybe the water would have saved him.
But then again, also in Hull, I would set myself on fire if I lived there.
There's worse places in the world.
Not many. London police issued a fresh call for help in solving the combustion death of 70-year-old John Nolan in September. That's a guy who was just walking down the street.
Oh yeah. Have we covered this?
Yeah, we did it on Weird News briefly.
Yeah.
We seem to get a lot more in the UK nowadays. Probably because
Maybe it's our diet.
fire investigators do not treat these cases lightly, and police don't want residents terrified of some sick individual setting the frail and the elderly on fire.
Well, no.
Not that time-travelling super serial killer.
Well,
There's not one of them.
you laughed.
There is
when
not one of them.
You laughed when I said it. The police are on my side.
And then we've got another one quite recently. This is in the Sun. I fucking hate the Sun.
Oh, mate.
I fucking
I'm
hate
made
the
no
Sun.
friend of mine. He's a fucking enemy. Enemy of the people.
Rupert Murdoch.
What's
Are
he?
you going to personally have him executed when we take power?
No, I never said that. I'm a homicidal maniac.
Yes, you are. So, them are the cases. It's still happening. In
Yep.
cases a couple of years ago in the UK, probably more worldwide that we're just not aware of. So why does it happen? So,
So
science officer Mike.
Devil.
Well, there is a scientific theory called the Wick Effect. Basically,
Right.
the body becomes an inside-out candle.
Okay, I saw this on the documentary. Yeah.
So the clothes act as the wick
Right.
inside a candle, and the
Yeah.
human fat
Yeah. Is
acts as the wax.
And it just keeps
Yeah.
on burning.
And when a fires start, they
Right.
obviously rage, don't they?
Yeah. And then
But
they
when
keep
oxygen levels drop to 16%, the fire knows that if it keeps burning, it's going to burn out its oxygen, it's going to die. So at that point, it goes in on itself and it smoulders.
So the fire sentient.
Well, maybe. Who knows?
Hey.
But it does this anyway.
What did I say? Oh, so all of a sudden,
And it smoulders,
Hang on.
and it gets hotter because it's smouldering. Yeah, and the clothes keep the fat inside, and it starts burning the liquid fat.
Right.
And then
Because most clothes nowadays are flame retardant.
Are they?
A lot of them are, yeah. Well,
Sweet.
they're,
that's
they're
why-
more fireproof, let's put it that
Yeah,
way.
and that's why you'll
what did you
sometimes
say
find.
about my clothes?
That's why you sometimes find the extremities unburned because they weren't covered by clothing, so they couldn't catch fire.
Ah, so that's why your legs...
Yeah, because the fire had died down because of the oxygen level, so it smoulders, and then it burns intensely around the midriff and
Oh,
that.
yeah. So your torso goes up.
Yeah,
In some cases, the head's still left as well.
yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Fucking hell.
I do think the pictures are creepy, though. I mean,
Yeah.
Horrible.
you know, just that pair of legs just there. You're like, imagine turning up to bed and you're like, oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, and it's got to be horrible for the investigators. Although I did say, I saw that picture of the guy scooping up a body with a dustpan and brush, and he was posing the copper quite merrily, shall we say. You know, gallows humour.
I think in the police, you've got to have that sense of humour, haven't you?
Yeah, well, that's their excuse. They say they've got to. But do you?
Yeah, I think you do. You see a lot of bad shit every day, or most days.
Oh, so much bad shit. This guy was doing 33 in a 30, and I had him.
Yeah, but then you get called to a murder, and you...
Yeah, but most police... Oh, don't make me go on an anti-police rant. Let's move on. I'm just saying, most police, you know...
Well, I've got a video explaining an experiment about this Wick Effect with a pig carcass done by the
pig
BBC.
Are we going to see the
Well,
pig carcass burn?
You
Ben.
are.
So go on then, Mike. Let's watch this pig burn.
We've all heard rumours of the bizarre and unexplained, and there's one in particular that I'm really interested in. Every now and again, someone finds a burnt human body, but the hands, arms and legs are left untouched. So is the room. It's claimed to be spontaneous human combustion, but is it possible? Could I simply burst into flames? To get to the bottom of this gruesome phenomenon, I'm going to recreate a typical case. This container makes a good living room, and this recently deceased pig is our human substitute. It was destined for the butchers, but like scientists have done for centuries, we're going to use it for research because its physiology, size and skin are all very similar to ours. Right, we've got to make this more human-like, so we need to wrap it up in some clothes.
Caressing the pig.
The blanket. The first thing to know about spontaneous combustion is that the victims are usually found near to a source of ignition, like a gas fire or a smouldering ashtray. So we can knock spontaneous on the head straight away.
Not always though, is
But
it?
there's still a lot of weirdness to investigate. Like, why is it only the torso gets burned? And why is the room left untouched? So here goes. Some typical unspontaneous combustion.
Normally, if you were fell asleep with a cigarette, the cigarette would just drop onto whatever you're wearing, and then it would go. So we'll try it.
Yeah. Let's see if that will take on the.
That's what I did. I had a ring like that. Yeah.
It's starting to go, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like.
So that's the cigarette pretty much gone.
Yeah.
It's burnt through the cotton. We're pretty much down to flesh. Now, normally you'd simply wake up and put yourself out. But if you were already dead or otherwise incapacitated, you'd continue to burn.
Heart attack
This
or
could
drunk.
take many hours, so we're speeding things up to the point where the body catches fire.
Wow.
So it's been, what, an hour and a half now?
I reckon about an hour and a half.
Still burning away. We seem to have a beautiful flame just centred in the middle, don't we?
Yeah, if you look closely, you can see the skin split, and now the fat's rendering down. The fat's becoming liquid, and it's actually the fat of the animal that's burning.
And that fat is soaking into the remnants of the blanket. The pig's clothed body acts like an inside-out candle. The melting fat is the wax, and the blanket is the wick. And like a candle, the whole thing burns with a low flame, so the fire is unlikely to spread to the rest of the room. There you go. 5-6 hours later, you can see where that wick effect's happening, right in the middle. I mean, this is it. It's a big pool of fat burrowing down with the flame.
Exactly, and that's where we start. That's where it started. That's where the cigarette caught fire.
And the head and the trotters,
Still intact.
nothing. I mean, they haven't even been touched. And the reason? Bits not covered by clothing can't become part of the wick, and they don't contain enough fat to burn by themselves. The mystery of the burned torso explained. So when the police go in and they find arms, legs and head, and loads of kind of burnt ash in the middle, but the whole of the rest of the room fine, spontaneous human combustion.
Or not so.
That isn't so spontaneous. Yeah. Yeah, well, at least I don't have to worry about bursting into flames anymore.
Well, I think he's missing several points.
It's not conclusive, I don't think.
I mean, for a start, this seems to happen in a lot of the accounts you read earlier. It seemed to happen very quickly. They weren't near source of ignition.
Yeah, that's the important thing, isn't it? They
Yeah.
weren't near sources of ignition, but that might have been recorded incorrectly.
There's a possibility.
I mean, if you got a cigarette and you're smoking it, you fall asleep, burns you, the cigarette's gone, isn't it? The evidence is gone.
True,
How do they
but
know that you weren't smoking
even
a cigarette?
surely even drunk you'd wake up. If you
Depends how
started to
drunk
burn.
you are, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, but
You know, there are definitely different stages.
And it does mostly affect alcoholics, doesn't it? This
in some cases,
mm,
that lady sat in her car probably wasn't.
we don't know. She could have been.
Well, I suppose that's true. All I was thinking, I was watching that video, oh, fucking hell, I bet that pig burning smells great. Oh,
The
crackling.
crackling.
Oh, the crackling. Oh, I'd bought today. Oh, yeah.
Well, it is another theory of the alcoholism because it produces ketosis,
Right.
which produces acetone, which is highly flammable, apparently.
And could therefore lead to apparently spontaneous combustion. Oh, low carb dieting, so don't get on the low carb diets.
See,
Alcoholism
bad
on
for-
low carb dieting, yeah, can cause this.
Told you diets are bad for you.
It could be self-immolation.
It's a
They could have
possibility.
wanted to kill themselves.
Yeah.
Alright.
They
Or they could have done a psychic suicide,
Ugh.
which was a theory proposed in one of the documentaries you watched. wasn't it?
Psychic
Yes.
suicide.
Yes.
How
So
does
their
that work?
subconscious wants them to die.
Right.
They want to die,
I
really.
know that feeling.
And so they just they just make it happen
Wow.
somehow.
Make it so.
I don't go for it.
There's the chakra one, isn't there? Did you hear that one, guys?
No. You've misaligned your chakras.
Apparently, yeah.
You could hear Ben struggling with the word chakras.
You know,
It's the energy at the bottom of the spine, the
Your
kundalini.
chi. So
The
did
kundalini.
you, like your chi?
And apparently, if you don't release it, it can build up pressure and explode.
you know,
another theory.
That documentary, the last 5 minutes started going on about chakras and that, so you know what, off.
Yeah, I knew you wouldn't watch
Off.
it.
Chakras. It could be true.
It's bollocks, though, isn't it?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, I didn't realise my chakras, so I set on fire.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
UK writer Michael Harrison suggests that it is connected to poltergeist activity.
I see, I'm more down for
now
that
we're
than
talking.
chakras.
No devil mentions yet?
Eh?
Anybody mention the devil yet?
Nope.
For
No.
fuck's sake.
Ball lightning, we've had that.
So am I literally the only person who thinks devil?
Well, I'm probably more on your side for that than I am for fucking chakras and psychic suicide.
I should bloody well hope so.
I mean,
We'll
fuck
have
you.
none of that business round here, will we?
I mean, alright. I like the poltergeist theory, that's quite fun. You got some fucking mischievous ghost who tortures you while you sleep. That could be your fucking invisible serial killer, Gaz.
Well, it's all... Okay, it could be linked, couldn't it? So maybe he's not a serial killer, but he is, in fact. A poltergeist.
A time travelling poltergeist.
A poltergeist and a serial killer. There's no reason why you can't be both, is there?
No? You ever seen the film Frighteners?
I haven't actually.
Haven't you?
No.
That's a good film.
I don't watch scary movies.
It's not really a scary movie.
Okay then.
It's, more
I might
it's
give
like
it
a bit of a
go
black comedy.
Oh, okay, I'm more down for that.
Michael J. Fox, is it?
Oh, I like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays a psychic. He can actually see. And he's
Good
got
film,
two,
actually.
and he's got two ghost helpers,
Oh, awesome.
and he sends them in to haunt the house,
Right.
and then he goes up and solves the problem, and they pay him, and that's kind of his little scam he's got going because he's a legitimate psychic. But then this serial killer decides someone beats his score, and he comes back from the dead and starts killing people.
Wow. Okay. Well,
And obviously Michael J. Fox has to then
I went
stop
to the
him.
cinema to watch that.
Oh, I didn't. It's probably
Wow.
wasn't old enough.
you'll be getting a lot more of Michael J. Fox soon, Ben, when we do the Back to the Future
Hey.
movie trilogy.
The Back to the Future Symposium.
Yes. Oh yeah, you're gonna love it.
Oh God,
It's gonna be fun.
it's not gonna be fun at all.
It will be fun.
It's not gonna be fun. I'm just gonna sit there and watch it, like basically watch it at gunpoint because I have to.
Oh no, come on, that makes it sound like we're forcing you to watch one of the greatest trilogies of movies ever made.
Bullshit.
Alright then. Right. Back to the
Yeah, I got one more scientific
back to the
explanation.
science.
Cell researcher
Science.
Lawrence Afrin, MD, posits that a rare condition called mast cell activation syndrome may be the cause of the phenomenon.
Oh.
Wow.
Under the right circumstances, a sudden flood of norepinephrine released from adipose mast cells could activate the UCP1 switch, whatever the fuck that means,
That's
and
UCP.
cause heat generation in excess of 90 degrees Celsius.
Wow.
Once the adipose tissue was ignited, it would in theory burn itself out, inclusive of bone marrow. So it could be something cellular.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, so like that's more like the X-Men, visual that I'm trying to paint, of like literally your cells from the inside burning at you can picture it kind of like in a sci-fi movie, you know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
Just somebody burning from the inside out. That's like a cellular thing, isn't it, man? That's something deep chemical going on because you've been zapped by the devil's dick death ray or something.
Or Jack Nicholson's Joker's little hand buzzer.
Yeah, that cooked a man.
Yeah.
And don't forget, in the human body, there's flammable gases. There's methane and hydrogen.
Well, yeah. It's practically mini Hindenburgs
Yeah.
trotting around.
I was just about to say, I want to sound proud of us all, lads. Nobody's made it. Igniting the fart joke yet. Have they?
No, I've never actually tried to do that. Like my own fart. I'm just terrified that I'll just go up.
What a way to go.
I don't want that on my tombstone. He was a good lad, but tried to light his own fart, the dickhead. I don't want that to be my eulogy.
Nobody wants that.
No. Well, maybe drunk old ladies are not above trying to light their farts, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It could be the reason it happened.
There's one
I
case.
think most cases are sort of They haven't realised the source of the external ignition.
Yeah, like you say with the straw.
Yeah.
There's been a few cases of that in the book I was reading from. They've gone to sleep on a straw in a hay bale, on top of a hay bale, or in a barn full of hay, or a straw bed, and it's like, well, yeah, because of the bacteria underneath.
Yeah.
Just heats the body up.
Or it could be like that one with a woman who breathed fire. She was sat next to her father who was smoking a pipe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't take a genius to explain that he's dropped a bit of ash, a burning ember on her clothes, and she's gone up.
It just looks like she's burning.
Yeah, she's coming up from
breathing
her chest.
fire.
Like,
Yeah. It looks like she's breathing fire, but she isn't. Yeah. She survived that originally, initially.
She did for a few days, yeah.
She died after, and it's not a nice way to go. Let's face it. Fire. It's not top of my list.
No, I wouldn't choose that.
I hope that if you die from fire, that you actually you asphyxiate. Do you know what I mean? Like you'll pass out quick and early. You know what I mean?
I'd hope so.
Like
I suppose
early on into the process, I hope.
The only bonus you've got is that your nerve endings get burned away pretty quick, so you're not feeling it. Back in the day when they used to burn people at the stake, sometimes the family would be allowed to put a little bag of gunpowder around their family member's neck. It seems a bit of a mercy. That soon died out when they realised that the gunpowder just, instead of exploding and taking their head off, the gunpowder available to the common man who could go and buy it wasn't very high quality. So it just tended to blast a sort of crater into your chest, causing you more pain. So it died out quite quickly, that little trend.
Yeah, I can imagine. Oh Lord.
You got to mix saltpeter with piss, haven't you?
And charcoal and other stuff, yeah.
Gunpowder.
But do you remember, but in that scenario, like, the government's got the best gunpowder.
Of course, yeah.
The stuff they're sort of selling off for
Black
you to go
market.
and hunt isn't as coarser and it's not as good, and so yeah, it doesn't go off as much as you'd like it to.
No.
So yeah, it's not my favourite way to go. I hope this never happens to me.
No, I hope I can go my entire life avoiding the whole getting set on fire. You know?
Yeah. So right. So, are you still going for
Devil God?
Devil God?
No, I'm going to give my sensible answer is... I don't really know. I mean, yes, that wicking theory does explain some of them, doesn't it? But it doesn't explain all of it, does it?
No.
There's still some mystery to this.
I think it might be a mixture of a lot of them. I think it might be that multicellular thing. Might be the Wick Effect. It might be alcohol mixing with something else and igniting.
It's got to be the perfect combination, hasn't it, of the correct factors all to fall in line, and then it can happen.
I think you're right. I think it might be the booze that mixes with something else. I remember we're full of gases as well. The Wick Effect, I think, only comes into account when you're being burned.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the cause of it.
Yeah.
Again, like, I think just maybe if you just get really hot, if you're an alcoholic and you're constantly soused in alcohol, because you're drunk, you're fucking spitting that over yourself. Yeah. Some chemical reaction in the body.
Yeah, ketosis, which is highly flammable.
Yeah.
This is acetone.
Halitosis.
And then maybe there's got to be some spark of ignition.
I think some of them psychic suicide.
Well, you never know.
I mean, cigarettes, pipes, things like that. I mean, if you've had a skinful, I suppose it's on your breath, isn't it?
It's true. So breathe on it. Inhale a cigarette. No, not in the actual cigarette. Inhale the heat of a cigarette. That ignites your fiery alcoholic halitosis breath, and it's just a recipe for disaster, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
And you breathe in the fire, and you ignite from the inside, and all your loved ones find is a little pile of you with your feet. So always make sure you put your best socks on, because you never know when you're going to spontaneously combust.
This is very true.
And you don't want to be found in a shitty old pair with holes in them and everything.
That's most of my work socks.
Yeah, it's pretty much all my socks.
I wear my best socks to come here into the podcast because we're live. Plus, there are holes in them.
I don't think anyone with a foot fetish is watching.
You never know, guys. You never know.
You wish.
You don't know. I don't know who our listeners are. Don't meet them.
What if it's some old dude with a foot fetish?
Well, he's not seeing me feet then, is he? He's gonna be denied his wank.
Some 90-year-old.
We concluded that then?
Yeah, it's a mystery. Which,
Yeah,
as a
it
good
is.
mystery should be.
Yeah.
It remains unsolved.
That's it, mate.
Because mysteries are shit when they get solved.
Well, they sort of
Stop being
cease.
mysteries.
Yeah, they cease in their sort of main function as that we want from them, don't they?
I don't know, I think we've got a few explanations are possible.
Yeah, but still possible explanations, and until we can get out there and do some science on it and prove it, with maybe someone that wants to die, then...
Well, I could be spontaneous then, unless it's psychic suicide, which you believe in.
No.
He said someone wants to die.
Someone who's open to this way of going, but doesn't, and then we say, okay...
But if it's spontaneous, how can they...
Because we'll set up the surroundings and we'll do some tests.
What, set them on fire? It's
Yeah.
not spontaneous, then, is it?
We'll get them pissed and give them a cigarette and see how it goes. It's not psychic suicide, let's put it that way.
Let's kidnap some Tories and burn
We're
them.
going to say tourists then.
No.
Let's kidnap some tourists.
Tories,
Okay.
and we'll burn them.
I think we probably get arrested on the Terrorism Act pretty quickly.
Yeah, that was a joke, actually. Don't forget this is a podcast. And it's not just us three talking to each other.
As much as we'd like to burn Tories, we're not going to.
Yeah. I mean, we would like to, but we're not going to.
Who's your number one?
Are we? Tory?
Yeah, the one who want to get burned.
Oh, I thought you meant like my number one, like which one am I a fan of?
No one's a fan.
My number one Tory would I like to burn?
Ian Duncan Smith.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's
What
a
he did
good
to the
one.
disabled and the fucking the poor people with illnesses and shit.
I'm going to go with, he didn't do anything particularly wrong, he just annoyed the fuck out of me, William Hague.
Oh, yeah.
Creepy little child star politician. Who wants to be a child
Tory
star
boy.
politician?
Was he a child? He
Yeah,
wasn't a child.
He
star,
was.
He
He
was.
was like 17, wasn't he, Gaz?
Yeah, he was like, he was like the Justin Bieber of the politics world, like.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You remember
You know what I mean?
Harry Enfield?
Yeah.
He was Tory boy, wasn't he?
Based on him, yeah.
You see him standing up and giving these speeches as a young kid.
Oh, right.
He
So
was
he's been indoctrinated from birth.
Oh,
of course
yes.
they all are.
Oh, yeah.
The wealthy, aren't they? They're not going to vote
William
Labour, are they?
Hague, I have always wanted to be
You know that he fucking
a
lit
Tory
maggots.
politician. I used to masturbate furiously.
Mine's Rees-Mogg.
You masturbate furiously to Rees-Mogg?
No, I just burn him.
I don't think anyone ever has. Even the most homosexual of homosexuals hasn't ever looked at him and gone, no one.
Look at that
Maybe
Victorian
his,
cunt.
obviously his wife must have.
No, come
Yeah,
on.
he's got like fucking 6 or 7 kids, hasn't
So it doesn't mean nothing. She didn't marry him because she's fucking attracted to him. It's a fucking... They have like a caste system when you're in that level of society. It's all fucking arranged. It's like, you can only marry certain, like, there's only certain fucking daughters
they've
they'll
all-
let him marry.
As well, remember, they've all been inbred over that long.
Yeah, you've got to keep the wealth
You're
within
like,
the...
alright, well, we haven't married one of that family for a couple of 100 years, so we should be alright.
And you've got to marry... So, they just pop out the kids. They marry for breeding and for money purposes. They don't marry
That's
for...
very true, there's no love involved.
Yeah, no.
There's no love in a Tory's heart.
No, even children remain necessary incumbents.
Oh my god.
Oh, bless.
I read an article where it said that children have been seen eating out of bins and eating loo paper to stave off hunger.
Eating out of bins, important survival guide for post-Brexit Britain.
Oh, yeah. We'll be doing it soon.
I had to punch the kids to get the best scraps.
Well, it'd be alright, but Tesco's put fucking locks on their bins and the police come if you get caught fucking trying to get in them. How mental's that?
Yeah, shocking, isn't it?
Oh well. Don't spontaneously combust if you can avoid it, guys.
Yeah,
Really don't.
yeah. But if you do know someone that's spontaneously combusted,
Yeah, get in touch with us.
yeah,
Obviously, the person who combusted can't.
they might have survived.
Well, it's not much of an internal spontaneous human combustion, is it, if they survive?
Oh no, but...
But yeah, I know what you say.
If they're just a head on a stick.
Or a head in a jar.
In a jar.
If it
Probably
was-
better.
Futurama style.
Yeah.
If it was a close call or something, like, let us know. Maybe. Yeah, there you go.
And also, just message any suggestions for shows or weird news articles. Interact with us.
We demand.
We demand it. We're all lonely.
Speak for yourself. Still want interaction. It's fun. Unless you're being a dick, then I definitely don't. Because you know
No.
how my interactions online usually end up then.
No, we have to give you you got your media badge back now, though, haven't you?
Yeah, I've learned to deal with the dickheads on the page. No, there's no dickheads on the page. You're all wonderful. Oh shit, I've ruined it. Can I have my badge back?
No, give me your badge. Give me your badge and your gun.
Oh. Wait a minute, you never gave me my gun.
Oh yeah, I've still got that. Just give us your badge back. Give us your social media gun.
Oh. Alright then. So, that's it then, is it? Is that spontaneous combustion?
Yeah. Some I think can be explained. Some I think possibly still mysteries.
Yeah. Pretty much agree with that.
I'm going for Gaz's theory. Fuck it.
Ooh, serial killing.
Serial killing poltergeist who can time travel.
Just point at people and set them on fire from the inside out.
No, he's a poltergeist. He just gets a lighter.
Fair enough. Well, there you go. We've explained it.
And can we track down that BBC bloke and see what he did with that pig? Because I've got a real hankering for some crackling right now.
Yeah, that looked good, man. Right then.
Just lost our vegan listeners.
Oh, well.
Well, I'm sure
No.
they'll tell us they're a vegan. It
Well,
won't matter.
Just to try and win some of them back, or the vegetarian ones, I've had spicy bean burgers all weekend. There you go.
There you go.
I'm a good person.
All right. They're not. How can they call it a burger if there's no meat in them?
Well, technically, a burger doesn't need burgers like a shape. It's
I'm
a
sorry,
thing,
they don't get the
isn't it?
shapes if there's no meat in it.
It's a thing.
Should we call it something else?
A spicy bean shape,
Pate. Should we call it patty?
but it doesn't affect you in
Patty's
any.
something different.
It doesn't
Oh,
affect you
patty.
in any way, shape, or
patty.
form. Is this really worth being stressed about?
Yes.
Okay, and this is why you will die in your early 30s on a bus,
You better hurry
shaking
up.
your fist.
Well, in all fairness, I'm past my early 30s.
Oh yeah,
So
I meant 40s.
am I dead?
I sometimes think that. I'm
Right,
dead and this is
better.
hell.
I think you may need to see a psychiatrist.
There is a strong argument apparently
am I a ghost?
that the world ended in whenever.
2012.
No.
And this is hell.
Is it 2012 and like, yeah.
Yeah.
When CERN switched that Hadron Collider on,
That's it. That's when things started getting screwy.
the world actually ended and we're now living in hell.
Yeah, something like that. Great, isn't it? Bastards.
Yeah.
Fucking scientists.
Wait, so you two can see me. Can anyone else see me, do you think? Am
Nah.
I actually...
What, are you walking around and people just ignoring you?
I was wondering why it took me ages to get served in a shop the other day.
It's nothing to do
This
with
is
being.
bad customer service.
It's nothing to do with being invisible. It's just your social status. And I'm the same, so you know, I'm in the same boat.
Have you ever seen that film Jacob's Ladder?
I haven't.
Oh, not
actually.
for a long, long,
I'll have
long
to pick
time.
it as a movie.
Isn't it a really fucked up movie?
Yeah, it's great,
Yeah.
man. Yeah. Basically, I won't give it away.
You might as well.
Well, basically, he's dead, and
Yeah.
because he's trying to hold on to his former life.
Oh.
It's getting harder and harder, and he just needs to let go and let it
Yeah.
all sort of.
Is it like a more fucked up version of Ghost then?
Uh,
Patrick Swayze can't let go, but he keeps coming back.
something like
And
that.
then he gets busted. How much better would that film have been if the Ghostbusters had been in it?
Infinitely.
Yeah. Should we do some weird news?
Let's do it.
Let's get the boys' views on this week's weird news.
Alligator spotted scaling high fence at US military airbase, so if the alligators can get in, I'm pretty sure that those Naruto runners can get in at Area 51. Or maybe they need to recruit some alligators to go in the first wave.
Oh, well, that'd be a pretty fucking awesome way to do it then, wouldn't it, to be fair?
If you could brain chip like a few hundred alligators
Yeah,
and
exactly.
remote control them and they just swarm the defences, that'd be fucking awesome.
Absolutely epic.
And they've snapped a picture of the crocodile scaling the fence, which is quite horrific.
It's not much of a fence though for a military
That is
base,
actually
is
a
it?
terrifying image though, isn't it? You don't want to see crocodiles doing things like that. So leave me alone. They're dinosaurs.
A large alligator has been captured on video climbing over a fence at a US military airbase. In the footage, the reptile can be seen clawing its way up a fence at the Naval Air Station in Jacksonville, Florida. Once it reaches the top, it flops its body over the other side and walks away. You don't think that's much of a fence? It's like 4 foot high.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, I just don't want them, alligators in particular, climbing anything. Do you know what I mean?
That's true. The base said in a Facebook post, if you are new to Florida or have been here for years, when you see water, assume an alligator could be in it. We have several on the base and they don't respect our security measures. On a serious side, of course, always be aware with small children and pets. Golfers, be aware and watch where you stick your hands and do not approach them ever. I disagree. I'm gonna tame a gator. Have as a pet, bring it round to the podcast with it.
Are you Ace Rimmer?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes,
That's
I am.
right, it's the Rimmer.
What a guy.
We are lucky to be alive.
Yeah, so alligators basically are making a mockery of US Naval Air Base security.
Well, I'm glad it's them and not terrorists.
Yeah, but terrorists are going to see that and go, that fence ain't
Oh,
very
they're
big,
going to
is it?
strap bombs to alligators.
Yeah.
They're going to have to cull the alligators. It's the only sensible thing.
Is it?
It might be a slightly knee-jerk reaction, I admit, but it was the first thing I thought of.
Alright, well, what's the next one then?
Animal related. Woman finds spider eating a bat in her front yard.
Oh,
That's
it's
some-
horrific. That's nightmare fuel.
A Texas woman had to do a double take the other day to make sure she was walking around in her yard and not the 7th circle of hell. That's because she found a giant spider eating a bat and it got trapped in its web.
Fucking hell!
This is nightmare cocaine.
So, if you can catch a bat, in theory, I could potentially get stuck in it if the web was big enough.
That is not cool, man. Nothing about that is cool.
Cat could get stuck in it.
Annette Alans Guajardo of Petite, Texas, took a video of the feasting demon while walking on a ranch property. By the time she got to the web, the bat was already dead and having its warm mammal innards sucked out by the arachnid, whose hide is as yellow as the flaming void it crawled out of.
Oh.
The video is gross. The whole thing is gross. But we are sick people, so here it is for your viewing.
And it's unavailable.
It's unavailable.
Thank fuck.
There is a still, and it is horrific.
Yeah.
Why would
Some
you
big
want
ass
to?
spider.
That's right. You know, I'm retreating, walking backwards slowly. Yeah, when I see that thing, all the way back to my barn because I'm on a ranch, and then I'm bringing in my flamethrower, and I am torching the entire building that thing is on.
Yeah.
I'm going to spontaneously combust that building using a flamethrower.
You're an arachnophobe, then, are you?
I am not a fan.
I'm not the biggest fan. If I,
I
saw
like them,
that
actually.
thing,
I like them. I don't mind them.
I'd leave the house. That come on though, Mike.
That's
fucking,
something different. That is. That's. I mean, it's.
That's demon fuel.
Yeah, that.
Like,
I mean, I want to
It's
bet
called
the
a
spiders.
bat.
The spiders in Britain. I don't think I'd like tarantula or anything like that.
No. I don't want something like that
No.
hanging around where I live.
That's a bit horrific. Well, Chester. Eat Chester.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, today it's a bat, tomorrow it's a cat, a small dog, eventually
A small horse.
a small horse, eventually, yeah, or like a chihuahua or a pug,
Well, that's got no chance, has it?
you know.
The spider's bigger than a chihuahua. Look at the size of it.
Exactly, that's what I mean. Bats aren't exactly the smallest things. Some of them. I mean, imagine the ones in Texas are bigger than the ones we have over here.
Yeah.
Everything's bigger in Texas, including the fucking bats and
yeah,
spiders.
isn't that
Clearly.
literally their like state slogan?
Yeah, everything's bigger in Texas. Yeah, little known fact about Texas: when you cross the border, your penis grows 3 inches.
I'm moving to Texas.
So yours will be 4.
Hey, boom boom.
Mine would be -6.
Well, you lost yours. It's travelling around another dimension. It's an interdimensional penis now.
It is.
It's saving far from galaxies and tyrannical regimes.
Yeah.
Sleeping with princesses.
Yeah. Just so you're not attached to it.
Hopefully I get the download all in one go. Multi-orgasm.
Then you spontaneously
Yeah.
What a way to go, Mike. There's no way you're surviving that.
40,000 orgasms in one go.
Head explodes.
Yeah.
The rest of your body just goes up in flames.
My balls will go first. Then my head.
It was worth it!
The experiment is a success.
Woof. At least your sofa will be alright. I don't like that piece of news. It makes me want to flame.
I mean, genuinely nightmare fuel. Oh well, don't live in Texas like you said, boom, it's simple.
Yeah?
Sorry for all you Texans. I'm literally have a film of grimy sweat upon my brow. I'm that hot. Just thought I'd let you all know.
It's alright, go for it.
Or am I reading this?
Yep.
That's why you were both staring at me.
Yes.
Man 26 pays woman £100 to give him a wedgie in public as part of fetish.
Okay.
Yeah. The man, who wants his identity to be shrouded in secrecy, believes his unusual fetish started when bullies carried out the act on him at school.
Did he get aroused?
The Camberwell resident, who wants to be referred to as Bobby, particularly likes being given a wedgie by women in crowded places. He told My London, "It is the perfect combination of humiliation, domination and pain." The 26-year-old explained, "It is difficult to say when the thought of the wedgie shifted from nightmare, being given them by bullies, to something that I now like. It is fair to say that I endured a fair amount of wedgies growing up. My school was pretty brutal."
Willing to bet it was a fucking private school.
I was going to say wedgies. I actually got my head kicked in, you little fucking fanny. You know what I mean? Like, nobody pulled my pants up my bum. They punched my fucking head repeatedly till it bled.
Yeah. In all fairness, I'd have taken the wedgie over the beating any day of the week.
Oh, we had a thing in our school, it was head first in the bin.
Oh, no, it never happened to me, thankfully.
No, nor me.
Oh, yeah,
so I
but
was quite
you
big.
went to Uber school, didn't you?
Well, I
Uber
went to grammar school.
Yeah, Mark's actually part of the ruling elite.
But, get this, by the time I got there, the rules had changed. Because it was fair game. It was like, look, if you're a first year, you piss off a sixth former or fifth year, you're going to get your head in the bin. And he went to the teacher, they wouldn't do anything, they'd be like, oh, you know.
What did you do to
Character
deserve
building.
the head in the bin?
Yeah, exactly. But, obviously, like, PC and all this and times change. By the time I got to the fifth year, you couldn't do it.
Oh, man.
All you could do was give them what was called a Bill's will.
A Bill's will?
Yeah. Which
That
basically...
It's a blowjob.
No,
I'm just thinking it was a private school, that's all.
the guy who founded it, you have to... There's a long will, and you have to copy out like so many pages of it. So you'd say like 6 pages on Bill's will.
And you had the power to do that?
Prefects did, yeah. I
Wow.
wasn't a prefect, I didn't.
Fuck Bill's
Yeah.
will.
Why didn't you become a prefect?
Because I wasn't square enough. Didn't suck enough teachers.
Do you want to know something? I was actually a prefect.
I was a prefect.
at Arklewood.
Because really, you just went, I'd like to be a prefect.
Yeah.
So you went first in the line for dinner
Yeah.
and could roam around the school at lunchtime, whereas ordinary students couldn't. Or they had to get permission. We could just sort of trot about.
Yeah, but it involved doing a lot of school activities.
Oh no, not for us.
Oh, for
No,
us
we
it
just had a
didn't.
different coloured tie, didn't
You're
we?
prefect, you have to go to all open days, all this sort of
They
shit.
had to do the
Oh,
opening
yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff
that
like
sort
that.
of
So it's
thing,
take.
yeah.
I seem to remember taking like a family round on like the open night
Yeah,
when they're trying to get
parents'
the kids to come to
stuff
school
like
and that. But
Yeah, that's
other than that, we didn't really do a lot.
I just wanted to get in and get out as quickly as possible, to be fair. I didn't want to be stuck after school doing shit.
Well, it's all that sodomy that was going on, I'd imagine.
Right. I think that concludes, doesn't it? Or did I
Yeah,
not
I'll
finish
do
it? Yeah, that's it.
Hang on. I want to read this quote.
Alright.
I remember on one occasion in particular, at the end of the term, aged about 15, that I was hoisted up onto a tree branch by my underwear and left there. I remember a group of girls just stood there laughing at me and then went on the way to class. To add insult to injury, I had to be helped down by the teachers. I wish I hadn't had such strong underwear. I can't say that occasion was when the fetish started, but I certainly vividly remember the group of girls. So,
Wow.
I'd imagine that's probably when it started. Hoisted up to a tree branch by your underwear? The fuck was he wearing?
This sounds made up to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's too much. That's what used to happen in the Dandy and the Beano, isn't it?
Yeah.
You get hung off a tree. You know
Pretty
what I mean?
much.
Yep.
Okay, so let's play Never Go Full Alex, the favourite game show in this flat. Basically, Mike picks a couple of random weirdos from the internet, and then he pits them against the arch saint of insanity himself, Alex Jones. The winner is who goes most
insane.
Most insane this week, or says the most weird thing, or who we decide generally to be the fucking most full of shit half the time, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Let's face it.
Every now and then, someone just goes spectacularly. You know, that they really go for it on the bananas stakes. You know what I mean? Usually Alex. Well, we'll see. He has been. He's been out fucking mentaled a
He has
couple
been
of
out
times.
a few times. He has had it easy recently. My favourite one was last week, Rick Wiles. I think fucking that was great.
Mm.
It's alright to go a little bit Alex though.
It is.
You know, quarter Alex, half Alex, 3/4 Alex on train, but never ever go full Alex. Ever.
Were you trying to get crazy with this, eh? Don't you know I'm loco?
Right, so who we got first?
First up, newcomer Francis Miles.
Right.
He's going about the bloody scapegoat and the battle for 2020.
Battle for 2020 sounds like a fucking awesome sci-fi film.
I think he just means a presidency.
Yeah. And this is a black guy
That sounds less awesome.
advocating Trump. Right. Alright, let's see what he's got to say.
What was the vision God gave you about President Trump
Oh, this is a big one.
and the battle for the White House in 2020 coming up?
I want to just, this is important for Christians everywhere. I had a vision that shook me, Pastor Jim, to the core of my being. I had this vision before the mass shootings. It was about, I believe it was about maybe 7 days ago. I was in prayer in my house and spending time with the Lord. When all of a sudden,
Does he have him round from here?
a clear-cut, open vision.
That's what I tell the
And
owner
this
I'm doing in the bathroom.
I saw a goat, and the goat was blooded. It had blood all over it. Everywhere it would move, it would leave footprints of blood that were footprints of blood. It had so much blood that it had so much blood on it, you can hardly even see the skin of the goat. But then I looked at the eyes, there was innocence in the eyes. And I said, God, I looked at this goat, but I could see innocence in the eyes. And I said, Lord, what are you trying to show me? He said to me, Francis, this is the battle for 2020. He said to me that the cabal that rule America, who have tried to get Trump out of the White House, because they tried to stop him from winning, and they've tried to get him out of office since then, and their hopes were hanging on the Mueller report. And we found out that the Mueller report was nothing but a dud. They realized that when Mueller came before Congress and it became clear, Mueller knew less about the Mueller report.
That's right.
Than anybody in that whole place. It became clear that Mueller never wrote that report. It became clear that this thing is not going to go anywhere. So the Lord said to me, see this God? I said, yes. He said to me, he says, this strategy that the enemy is about to use against Trump to stop him from having another 4 years is a double-edged strategy. He says, because this time it's coming from the underworld and from the political establishment. I said, what do you mean? He said to me, sacrifice has been made in the demonic world. And the new strategy is going to be to make Donald Trump bloody, the bloodiest president in American history. He says, how, Lord? He says, they are going to make him the scapegoat for every bloodshed that happens in America till 2020.
Oh my goodness. And
He
that's
said, look at the goat. He's blooded. It's not his blood. It has been put on him by those who want to make the God look guilty for things the God did not do. That's the innocence you see in the eyes, is the innocence of this man.
Oh.
Right, so he's chilling out with the Lord at home, having a beer, possibly smoking a joint.
Spending time with the Lord. Yeah.
He's wearing a fucking golden lion pendant around his neck.
Spent some time with the Lord. I did that twice today while they were all out at the park. Cast or no cast. It's pretty cool actually, because I could just balance my smartphone in the crook of my elbow. I'm joking, of course, if you're listening, darling.
No, he's not.
Yeah, back to the big gold lion.
Yeah, he's making some money, isn't he?
Yeah, if that's real, it's worth fuckloads of money. I wouldn't
Yeah.
like to guess how much. I mean, fuckloads. So yeah, I was about to say it probably isn't, but I don't know who he is. It might be. Does this guy own a super church somewhere?
Probably.
Is he? You know, it could well be a solid gold giant lion's head hanging around his neck, and he's telling us who to vote for.
Because he saw bloodied goat.
Yeah.
With innocent eyes.
Yeah, innocent eyes. It has to be Trump.
How do eyes look innocent? I mean, they can look happy, they can look sad, you know, angry. Can they look innocent? Isn't that more of a abstract concept?
God seems to really like Donald Trump, considering Trump doesn't really believe in him, doesn't he?
All these fucking pastors keep getting a lot of messages. Did you see when somebody asked him what was his favourite Bible verse the other day, and he's like something, he basically said like, oh, I'm a big fan of all of them.
Yeah, they're all pretty good.
Yeah, and they were like, are you more of an Old Testament or New Testament? I'm kind of 50-50, you know.
Yeah, you've never fucking looked at it, mate.
They asked him for his favourite, and he was like, oh, I don't want to get into that. I don't want to upset anybody. Like, you can't think of even like a sentence from it. Even I could be like, oh, what the fuck does he say in Pulp Fiction?
Oh, I will
the path of the righteous man is beset on all sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
I mean, at least go, well, Genesis is alright, isn't it? In the beginning, God created heaven and the earth.
As I walk through the shadow of the valley of death.
That's it.
Yeah.
As I walk through the shadow of the valley of death.
I mean, for God's sake, that's a Coolio lyric.
I'll take a look at my life and realise there's nothing left. I've been laughing and blasting so long that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone. But I never cause a man who didn't deserve it. You be treated like a punk, you know that's unheard of.
Thanks for that impromptu hip-hop tribute to Coolio.
White boy rap. Have you ever heard Weird Al's version?
Oh, yeah, it's actually my favourite version, Amish Paradise. And my homies agree I really look good in black, y'all. Yeah.
Weird Al. So, yeah, this guy... Oh, we'll save it for the end.
Yeah.
Okay start, good start.
Another newcomer next, E.W. Jackson says gay people are turning the church into a hunting ground for predators.
I think it was probably going on a long time before that was happening, but fair enough.
Churches letting homosexuals in there to perform because it puts, butts in the seat so they can make money. And these guys who are coming in are molesting the kids.
Yep.
And leadership is turning their head. It's like, oh, okay, I guess that's all right. And it's been going on for decades. I'm like, what?
You know, my father, he wasn't a churchgoer, but there was a church nearby, and I would attend that church because my foster parents did take me to church. And my father found out that they had hired a man who he knew to be a homosexual, and he forbade me from going any further. Now here again, that's fatherhood, see? No, you're not going over there, you know, because I don't want you in or around that.
Right.
And here again, that protection is so critically needed, because you're right, there are predators out there. They've been out there for a long, long time.
They're in the church.
And they're in the church. In fact, they're being brought into the church in some cases because they're talented or they're gifted, and their sexuality is being completely ignored, and they're turning the church into a hunting ground for predators.
That's right.
Hasn't this been going on for like
hundreds of years? Probably 2,000 years since the church has actually founded the Christian church. And they gave that rule of the priests when they get married. I mean, and he says, oh yeah, Yeah, my dad never went to church. My foster family would go, and then my dad found out there was a homosexual in there, and he said, no, you're not going there anymore. He goes, that's fatherhood. Well, you can't have been that much of a father, mate. You live with a fucking foster family.
Yeah.
You know, there's a reason you're not living with him.
Yeah. Ah, fucking idiot. He didn't see the irony of that, did he?
No. I also think it might be a case of the lady doth protest too much.
Yeah.
You know?
Usually is with these fuckers.
The ones who point the fingers usually tend to be the ones fucking doing it, don't they? So.
Yeah.
So, this will be interesting. Alex Jones explains sex magic.
Ooh. Subject close to our hearts.
Yeah.
We all love a bit of sex magic.
Thought you like this one, guys.
20s and 30s, they ran government operations before the OSS even existed, where they engaged in what you'd call witchcraft, but it wasn't witchcraft like a lady with a black hat and a broom. That's what women would do when they would take hallucinogens and then put the broom between their legs as a form of sex magic, running around a fire, masturbating. That's what all of this is, ladies and gentlemen. Period. And I'm an expert because I studied history. You study history, it's all right there. So there it is, hiding in plain view.
That's it.
So they would take LSD.
Yeah.
And use the broom to get themselves off. Why a broom, Alex?
Because he studied history, Gaz, an expert.
Run around masturbating in front of the fire.
I presume grinding themselves against the broom between their legs, running around a fire. And he's an expert because he studied history.
Well, he comes at me some shit, doesn't he?
I've studied history, but I've never came across that one.
No, I don't know what history books he's been reading.
Well, it's the right-wing Republican history books, aren't they? They're the ones that Native Americans didn't actually exist. America was empty before the white people got there. That kind of stuff.
Wow.
The Garden of Eden's in America. It's all batshit insane. Short one from Alex.
Short and sweet.
Seems very confident of what he's saying. Let's go back to the first one. Francis Mars, the bloody scapegoat in the battle for 2020, and really expect the lunacy to go through the roof the closer we get to that election. That's going to give us some great material.
Oh yeah.
Because all these guys, that was, who was he speaking to there? We've had him on before.
Jim Baker,
one of the two. Chewbacca. He's as batshit insane as they come. I mean, he's a former winner of this show. He's obviously now got this protege, and of course he's presumably young, gifted and black. So hey, I'm not a racist, look, I've got this black guy on.
Young, gifted and black, just like Trump.
Hey.
And of course remember that they don't want to paint Trump as a racist, so if you get a black guy saying this, all of a sudden...
Of course.
It's alright, isn't it?
He's alright by me.
They love an Uncle Tom, don't they, right?
Ooh. Is that a politically correct term now, the Uncle Tom thing?
Is it?
I don't know idea, I'm not saying
I don't know, I've heard it.
Yeah.
Been bandied about. But
it's just...
It's from a book, isn't it?
Yeah. Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Yeah, but you gotta be careful because you can't say fucking anything anymore, you retarded fucking tranny.
Who, Mike?
It's just two of the things I could think of that you're not allowed to say anymore.
You calling Mike a retarded tranny?
Well, I haven't got a car. I'm a bit thick. So he's probably got a point.
Well, since you're happy with
But
it.
yeah, technically I am calling him that, but I'm not calling him that. I just wanted to say retard and tranny. Because they're the first two banned words I could think of. Well, they weren't, but there's one that nobody ever says, is there? Because it was always banned. It's not one of the new banned ones.
Yeah.
So don't say it.
Never say it.
Never say it. No.
I don't know which one you're on about, actually.
Yeah, don't worry. Let's not go down this road. Second guy, E.W. Jackson says that gay people are turning the church into a hunting ground for predators. Well, how does he explain all them Catholic priests? Are they gay?
Well, technically he's right, but what he's wrong about is that they're not being recruited in. They're already there. They're the fucking priests. They're the fucking...
Well, that's because he's saying, oh, well, the leadership, they just like, oh, okay, turning a blind eye to it. Probably because they're like...
more kids than anybody.
Like, well, we're doing it. I mean,
That's it, innit? I mean, child molestation and stuff is rife in the church, we know it.
Yeah.
So he's blaming the gays that are coming to church now. No, mate. No,
I don't know, really, if you were a homosexual male or female, why would you want to go to church when they seem quite intent on telling you you're a you're sinful and you're going to hell.
Do all churches? I don't know.
Well, I suppose it's kind of church he goes to.
Evangelicals, probably, yeah.
I mean, Church of England's pretty nothing, is it? I mean, they don't care.
I don't think so.
Yeah. It's not really a religion, is it?
Well,
It's
we've
just...
passed a law now, haven't we? Gay marriage in church.
Church of England. Hey, Jesus, you cat!
Get a pint of Stella, Jesus.
More like, hello, Jesus.
Yeah, but the only other people you see going to church nowadays are the elderly.
Elderly, incredibly...
Lepers.
Poor... Lepers?
It's a big leper colony in Dorley, isn't it?
No, Mike, they just all look like that. They're not actually lepers.
Oh, I thought they were.
Don't talk about Ben's friends like that. Or close
They just look like that.
They're supposed to have bits missing.
They all do. Good old Dorley.
Just another part of me.
You know
what was the old Michael Jackson joke? He found his nose in his pocket. I don't know. It's just another part of me.
You know, weirdly, the church, like last Easter, the church by me, like went fucking whole hog on it.
On leperism?
No, on Easter. I mean, I didn't see all of it, but I was walking through there with the dog, and like you had two guys dressed up as Roman soldiers with a little fire on the go. You had a big cross down the bottom. They built a little stone tomb and everything. I was like, it's a bit fucking much, isn't it?
Especially for the people of fucking Dorley. No offence, Ben, but I mean, how many of them know who Jesus is?
Well, he's a bloke who owns a fucking local shop in the high street, isn't he?
Mummy, when does the Easter Bunny come in?
Well, this is it.
She's boring. Dead blokes on sticks.
Yeah, they've kept the cross up as punishment for certain minor traffic offences now.
Oh, well. I mean, I'm struggling this week.
I think the first guy's got it. For me.
Yeah, probably. Just the way he casually said, I was spending time with the Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, he's got it.
Yeah.
Alex is a close second.
Yeah, the other guy's just a bit of a bigot, isn't he?
Yeah.
And I suspect that he's probably a bit jealous that he's not molesting as many kids as some people.
Yeah, I suspect he touches kids, allegedly. Yeah, okay, first
It's
man.
quite an elaborate sort of vision that he had, wasn't it, with the goat and the blood.
Yeah. But they really do love Trump, don't they? I mean, and now I seem to recall from the Bible, there's going to be, it's not going to be the chosen one, the second coming. Before you get him, you get the Antichrist. And everyone thinks he's the second coming.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're all falling into their own trap.
Well, some would argue
I
that
think
Osama bin Laden, fuck, am I a Trump supporter? Obama was
because he was the 44th president.
Well, no, he was seen as, like you just said, they thought he was the second coming, you know, like he's our saviour. Yeah. Old Obama. Saint Obama. But he could have been, you know, I mean, he blew up at our schools as well.
Well, he did. He wasn't a saint, but...
He's quite a killy president, wasn't he?
But I don't
he was
argue-
really good at them speeches, so nobody cared, and he did jokes in his speeches.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter that he blew up hospitals and schools and weddings and things like
He
that.
got a fucking
with drones.
Nobel Peace Prize for ramping up the fucking drone program. Killed more people.
Yeah, and Tony
than any
Blair,
other president.
But say Tony Blair was fucking Middle Eastern peace envoy after he'd set a large chunk of it on fire.
And patron of Save the Children.
And
Save the Children.
Not
Set
the
off
brown
them on
ones,
fire.
though, Tony.
Yeah.
Not the brown ones. Fuck me. Save the children, unless, of course, their father's own oil.
Bombs away. We're going to get a lot more of this in the next... Well, I don't even know when... in the next year, I don't know what month they're in. But expect a lot of this to be featuring.
I've got Trump fatigue. I'm not even tired of him, I'm tired of everyone talking about him, but I understand no one can stop talking about him because he keeps just being stupider and stupider.
Oh, yeah.
I actually think he's going senile.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do think as well though there are
Joe
some
Biden is as well.
there are some cases of people winding themselves up too much and feverishly looking for everything. You know when he called himself the chosen one the other day?
Yeah.
It's being painted. Now I only saw it at first through news articles, and it's sort of being painted as like he's losing the plot. He's literally declaring to the world that he's the chosen one. But in context, he is kind of He's kind of just saying like, I'm going to sort China out. I'm the chosen one to sort China out. Yeah, but it's not. He may be alright. He might not be joking, but I don't think it's the way. You know, the way it's been painted is like he's literally turned into a megalomaniac.
What do you mean turned into?
Yeah,
He's always been one.
I know. Look, I'm not trying to make excuses for him. I just think I think that people are winding themselves up too much over the shit he says. Fuck him. He'll be gone soon. Hopefully.
Well, it depends. They put him against. It gets put against him, doesn't it? If it's Bernie, then yes.
Actually, in the polls, all the top 4 beating him.
Really?
Yeah, Biden, Bernie, Warren, and Kamala.
They should give it to Bernie, to be fair.
He deserves it after being cheated last time.
Well, watch the.
They'll do it again.
Fahrenheit 11/9, is it? Michael Moore goes on about Bernie and the Republican, the Democrat primaries. So basically, how he was effectively just cheated out of it, and Hillary got it.
Yeah, it's improving.
She's not going again, is she?
No.
So yes.
Oh well, fuck him. That guy wins.
Yeah. Should we finish on the Sunday sport?
Let's do it. We wouldn't be the first, Mike, and we won't be the last.
I feel fucking terrible buying this every time. I go to the shop up the road. I always have a chat to the same person's on the counter because I've been going in there every Sunday now while we've been doing the podcast. So well over a year and buying beer and Pringles, and all of a sudden I started buying that, and it's like I feel quite ashamed of this.
It could be worse. Could be angling times.
That's true. So go on then, Mike.
Okay, the headlines this week. Bong. Ferrari babe flashes her gash on Spanish holiday.
Okay.
Bong. Bonking Boris betrays Britain. PM offered to chuck Brexit for a go on Macron's wife.
I think that's the truest thing they've ever printed.
Probably.
Isn't it?
If you want to get through to Boris, that's probably the best way to do it.
Bloody good bloodring.
So Fast and the fucking Furious outside.
Yeah, sorry about that, listener.
Bong. Pants thief jailed over street wank.
Listeners should point out this is the Sunday Sport. It is a legitimate newspaper in Britain. It's just tits and fake news.
Yeah. But what news?
Bong. Meghan wears polar bear slippers and Harry clubs baby seals when he's cross.
He's got a supply of them, I'd imagine.
Just out the back.
This is a headline. Bong. Wank holiday. Instead of bank holiday.
Go on, read the first couple of lines of that one.
Bosses at British sex toy company Lalo give staff in its UK office 4 days of extra annual leave just to stay at home and furiously masturbate.
Wow.
Are they recruiting by any chance?
Bong. World War II bomb explodes in Perv's face as he sniffs dog turds on the beach.
Amazing how that bomb had been there for 70 years and never got off before until some chap decides to lean down and sniff a dog turd.
Is that the biggest dog shit I've ever seen, or a World War II fucking bomb? He's so blinded by his desperation to come. Oh, I've been there, what can I say? We've all had cummer's remorse. Come on, you know that feeling. The second it's out of you, you just think, oh, I'm such a dirty, dirty animal.
Are you raised Catholic by any chance?
No, man, fuck some absolute monsters in pursuit of an orgasm. And had some inventive wanks.
Well,
moving on. Mike, you got any plastic bags I can borrow?
And a belt.
I constructed a sophisticated pulley system.
It's impressive.
It's like a steampunk fuck machine.
A mannequin hand and a rubber glove.
And a pulley?
I promise you the pulley.
Sorry, back to the newspaper.
Bong. Nude walker's medium cock.
What? What? Is that news?
That's a headline. Bong. Man filmed dog licking his ball bag.
Hey! No evidence of that.
Bong. Dog shagger caught on video.
Again, no evidence.
I can see one from here, right? It just says, I want to explain to the listener, there's a picture of a woman riding a man. It looks like it's from like a high-class movie or something like that. And a giant speech bubble. Yes, a speech bubble in a national newspaper. And it simply says, "Finish on my tits." What's that story about?
Spunky Michelle, sexiest role ever, and fans go berserk. Casualty departments are working at full tilt last week after thousands of Michelle Keegan fans pulled their ends off after she appeared in an X-rated spunk scene.
To be fair, she is absolutely fucking gorgeous, that woman.
I've never seen her, to be honest.
She's in... Have you seen Red Dwarf Back to Earth, obviously?
Mm-hmm.
She's the one who's from Corrie that talks to Craig Charles in the shop.
Right.
I think
Okay.
she's working in the shop on Coronation Street.
Okay.
Oh, she's lovely. In that sort of beautiful, chavvy kind of, you know... Anyway, moving on. Finish up my tits!
Bong. Raid cops found human remains in voodoo altar.
That's more interesting.
Yeah.
That's actually news.
It is.
I'll go for that.
What page is it on?
Page 15.
Oh yeah, just
15
out of interest.
pages, got some actual news.
Just out of interest, lads, do you leave this here, Ben, or do you take it home with you as you...
I'll leave it here.
Oh, fair enough.
Bong. Dildo killer gets needle.
Oh, yeah.
Bong. Score gets blasted over anal sex tip for kiddies.
Oh, man.
That's dodgy.
I can see an advert from here. It says, 4 sex DVDs for just £10.
Wow.
That shows you who's buying these fucking newspaper, doesn't it? DVDs?
People who still buy...
Yeah.
Well, still buy fucking mags.
People who aren't aware of streaming tube services.
Yeah.
Bong. OAPs held over group bumming at beauty spot.
Okay.
Bong. Priest blows 100k on sex.
So very priestly of him.
At least he wasn't fucking kids.
Well,
do you know what I
we
mean?
hope.
Whoever keeps him on the straight and narrow.
Bong. Which shit shat outside our newsagent?
Oh, come on.
I think that's it.
Yeah. And
Right.
again, I had a brief look through it earlier, and believe me, they've still got the movie guide where you can see tits.
Excellent.
Where it tells you exactly what minute you're going
Yeah.
to see the tits.
Brilliant. What's on tonight? No. Right, that was excellent.
Indeed. Right, so thanks for listening. I've been Ben. I'm going to say don't drink the Favourade and don't join a cult.
I've been Gaz. I will say please subscribe to Sewage Pipe Gaming on YouTube and Solar Warden Music. And what's our show?
Oh yeah,
on?
of course.
What's the actual show? on?
Apocalypse Ball.
Apocalypse
on YouTube.
Ball. If you prefer a podcast on YouTube, I don't know why, but you can. It's an option. Yeah, do that. And Free Biff Tannen. Thank you.
The YouTube is actually good for non-native English speakers.
Because you've got the
auto-generated.
Basically, anyone who's not from England, even our
Captions.
American listeners, might benefit from subtitles with our accents, maybe.
Very
There's
true.
an idea.
Very true.
So subscribe to all those channels, yes, and Free Biff Tannen. Thank you. Good night.
I've been Mike, thanks for listening. Peace out. May the force be with you. Always. Always.